I used to be a full-blown racist, thanks to my upbringing, but now that I've turned my life around and want to reconnect with my sister, she's demanding I go to therapy before I can even meet her kids. My older sister and I were raised by an extremely racist and violent single father in a very small, lily-white town after our mom died. I could name a plethora of crazy, untrue things I was taught by him, but that isn't really necessary for this story. Long story short, from a young age I inherited all of my dad's bad attributes, but my sister was always a sensitive, kind kid. Whereas I was constantly fighting and angry, she was into animals and very interested in stories, folklore, places, and people. Everyone said she got it from our mom. Though she was really my dad's pride and joy, her interest in people and things outside of our tiny world of drunken fighting, small town drama, and hatred was the beginning of her conflict with our dad. By the time my sister won a scholarship to college, she was constantly at odds with my dad. She couldn't wait to leave home. She did well in school, studied abroad, made new friends with people we grew up hating. She became different. Before college, she was the typical girl next door, popular with the guys for her looks and beloved by mostly everyone in our town for her kind demeanor. Typical small town, nice girl. Then the rumors started about her getting brainwashed in college and her name basically became a bad word. I hate to admit it, but I started to believe those things because even our dad said them. Ironically, she eventually began dating this black guy, which was the biggest sin possible to a lot of people in our town, including me. I didn't understand it. Our dad was furious for a long time, but eventually it looked like he was coming around because he invited them to the house one afternoon. He started drinking in the driveway that morning, and by the time they arrived, he was hammered. They stepped out of the car to a barrage of slurs which instantly broke my sister into tears. Then he started throwing cold beer cans at them and I joined in. Both of them were bleeding and we dented the car up pretty good. They sped away, but until that moment, I'd never seen my sister cry like that. I was 13 then. Dad yelled that she was dead to him. I wouldn't see my sister for nearly 15 years after this. I didn't even know her boyfriend's name. Our dad passed a few years ago, and the staggering lack of people who came to his funeral was a big wake-up call to me about the need to have loving people in your life. After that, I moved to a bigger city for work. I gradually made friends and began having experiences I would have never had in my old town. I'm now very different from the rage-filled kid I used to be. Truth is, before Dad died, we started to clash. I drank and partied, so hard that I went to jail a few times. Partying was my escape. I partied a while after I moved, but the sheer gift of time and living life led me to eventually realize many of the things I was taught was wrong, and if I didn't change I was going to end up in jail or worse. I just started feeling like there had to be more to life than being mad at the world and drunk all the time. I joined a few volunteer groups and the people I met helped me get sober and really made a big impact on changing my trajectory. My views on race changed dramatically and I've managed to build a solid, but diverse group of friends. Despite that, the weight of having no family also set in. I missed my sister so much but was too ashamed to reach out. I found her on Facebook and watched her life from afar. She actually married that guy we threw beer at and they have 3 kids and live a few states away. They seemed really happy in their pictures. I eventually reached out and we developed communication online. A few weeks in, I made the drive out of state and met her and her husband over dinner. We had some very tough, emotional talk, but overall it was a very constructive visit. I told them I wanted to be in their lives and even be an uncle to their kids. My sister then told me that I should hold off on all that for the moment. Given our upbringing and my history, she recommended I go to therapy or counseling before being introduced to her kids. She said they had worked hard to make sure their kids weren't exposed to the kind of adults we grew up with. I don't know why, but I took offense because she doesn't know what I've been through since my father died. I'm not that same hateful preteen. She doesn't know how I had to intentionally work hard and am still working hard to better myself. I'm not opposed to therapy, but to make it a requirement before even meeting her children seems excessive. I told her I would think about it, but I don't think I hid my disappointment too well. I'm pretty sure she sensed the change in our vibe because the rest of the dinner was a bit awkward. I haven't heard from her since. Am I wrong for not wanting to go to therapy just because she thinks I should? I mean, I'm literally considering moving several states away to be near them. Shouldn't that be enough for a start? Update 5 days later, thanks to everyone who reached out and offered kind and not so kind words. The feedback really did help open my eyes. I didn't expect it to blow up like it did. Unfortunately, I went to work after posting and didn't look at it until the end of the day. By then, the post was locked and I couldn't respond. I spoke with my sister on the phone after our dinner and she said she became physically ill after our meeting, particularly after I was hesitant on therapy. Further, she doesn't trust me. I know I blew my chance. Her tone was different. I could tell she had a lot of simmering anger in her voice as she spoke. She talked about a few really tough personal things I didn't know she went through with our dad and how she